start by already getting one of those ends, okay? The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the wrap on, I'm going to hold it in place, and then I'm going to stretch so they get that increased pressure at the distal end, okay? And then I'm going to use a figure 8. So I wrap over that. I might come up over the knee as well because that will help to anchor the wrap so it doesn't come down, okay? And then I want to get this corner. Now let me just show you something. If I come this way and I do a figure 8 and I make that turn really tight, I'm going to end up with problems. Do you see how that gaps? Okay, and so then the next time I come by, I'm going to end up with wrinkles and folds. Bad thing, right? So even though you want to aim over here, the strategy really is to come over here more, and then you'll be in a better position for getting this end. And again, you're going to give a little stretch there so you get that more pressure distally than proximally. And you see how I got that corner very nicely, and it's laying down better than it did when I made the sharper turn. This is going to be tricky for some of you because it'll get frustrating. Just work with it. It's a matter of placing the wrap in such a way that you can get these turns that are a bigger turn rather than a really sharp U-turn. Okay, that will be a key for you. And then again, trying to slap off a little bit on the pressure as I come up and around again. Okay, but always I'm doing a figure 8 kind of process. Okay, then I might come out here even further because I want to get that, more of the distal end. Okay, so then I'm going to place it there. So you can see that I've pretty much covered all of the distal end, even just with 3 times around the bottom here on this particular model. Now I've got some other places that are still shown. That's okay. I'll come back and cover them up later. Okay, but this is where it is helpful to have an extra long wrap. Okay, and you know that you're doing the right thing when you get this nice kind of braiding effect. If you've got that, then you know you're doing a figure 8 and you're doing just fine and you haven't done circumferential. This time, because I want to get here a little bit more, I'm going to come down here again. So if I aim this way, then I could do this turn and I can get that spot very nicely again. See how it worked? Okay, everybody all right with that? Okay, it looks easy. Nice. It's laying down nicely. It actually is easy. I will tell you I've done this a lot in my clinical life. So this is coming pretty much second nature to me. It might not feel quite so easy to you, okay? This actually ended up, not by design so much, perfectly, because I like to have it end on the top rather than on the bottom again. In the clinic, if you do use clips, I don't want the person's leg laying on the clips. I don't want that weight. And again, I don't like clips at all. So I would then put 1 or 2 pretty sturdy, I don't want that like paper tape. I want like athletic tape or whatever. They're going to like long enough to really hold it too. So don't make it too short. Wrap it. It doesn't matter at this point. It can be pretty long. And then I can date it and initial it and put the time. So I know at 10:15 I did this wrap. And then I know about 4 hours from now I should be rewrapping it. Okay. And that would be a, oops, oh, look at that. Good thing I checked, right? So it's not complete because I missed, just like I missed this morning with Jessica. I got a little flaw today. So if I've missed a spot, no problem, I just grab another wrap, okay? And I typically don't tape in the middle. So if I'm going to use 2 wraps, I don't usually anchor. I only anchor it with using my second wrap. It's not wrong to have tape in there in the middle. I just typically don't do that. Makes it easier to deal with the person. I've already done the ends, so I don't really need to emphasize the ends. I just need to get that spot that I missed in the back. Which am I just holding? Person in place. The person isn't usually sliding around for you. But because I have the opportunity with a longer wrap, I'll go ahead and do more. Because again, I want to maintain more pressure distally than proximally. But I also need to check to make sure I'm getting that back piece, which I'm perpetually missing. So, I'll just change it. Okay, and I got it finally. Okay, so what did I do? I just changed a little bit how I laid that ace bandage down, just so I would make sure. Oh, and that is the last rule, that all parts have to, you can't have any holes, missing holes, because what would a place where you can still see the blue jean would mean that they could swell in that area, and you don't want that. Now I'm just using up extra wrap because I got this extra long one, so I'll just go up. You don't need to necessarily go high. Once you've anchored around the knee, you're going to be perfectly fine. It's going to stay on, but I'm just using up roll. And again, I'm not pulling very hard on this one because I want more pressure distally than proximally. Okay. Again, now I'm going to end, and I'll end right there. Okay. If it was going to end on the bottom, let's say I ran out of space right here, often what I will do is I will then take it, so if it really did end there, it would have been like that, right? It ended down there, okay? I will take it and I will fold it over itself and tape it so that it is on the top, okay? It's less likely for the person to be moving around and tearing that tape off if it's on the top rather than on the bottom, so I prefer for it to end on the top, okay? And then you can just double check, okay? For the lab practical, you will draw a card. It will either say AK or BK. You'll know what you'll have to do. You can wrap your own residual limb that you created. So the one that you practiced on is the one that you can be tested on. If you don't want to be tested on yours, you can be tested on this one. This one is actually, I really like this one because it tends to stay put. Sometimes you'll end up with ones where you start putting pressure distally and all the stuffing moves out of it. And then you keep ending with a changing volume, which is very frustrating. Okay. So if you'd prefer to be tested on this one, that's fine. But I think it might be wise for you to be tested on your own because then you've practiced on your own. So you'll do either the AK or the BK. We'll just practice the BK for now. And you'll draw the card and you'll start to wrap. And you wrap, and I'm kind of in the room, but I'm not really over your shoulder. When you are pleased with how your wrap has been completed, then you call me over. And I inspect when it's done. So I'm not I'm in there, but I'm not like watching every move, okay? And I might have several people going at the same time. So you'll wrap it, and once you're pleased with it, so you can check those things like, oops, I missed this spot, go back over. Because you know what, in the clinic, you would do that too, right? You want to inspect your work and not leave until you're satisfied with it. So you get to do it, rewrap it. If you didn't like how you started out, you can unwrap and rewrap again. At some point you have to leave the room, so you do have to finish. You can't have just 12 hours to do it, okay? But you get to kind of do it at your own pace. Call me over, and then I will unwrap. And as I unwrap, I check to see how things have laid down and those kinds of things, all right? So this is kind of a self-paced lab practical, so I'll call you back to the back of the room and you'll do it, but you have your own time to do it, all right?